Africa. Africa, the cradle of humanity, holds a history as vast and diverse as its landscapes. It's here, in the Great Rift Valley, that our earliest ancestors first stood upright and began the long journey of human evolution. As early humans spread across the continent, they developed complex societies and technologies. The Nile Valley became home to one of the world's earliest and most enduring civilizations, ancient Egypt. Meanwhile, great empires rose and fell across the continent: Ghana, Mali, Songhai in the west, Great Zimbabwe in the south, and the kingdoms of Aksum and Nubia in the east. Africa's history took a dark turn with the rise of the transatlantic slave trade. Millions were forcibly taken from their homes, leaving deep scars on the continent's demographics and social structures. This period was followed by the scramble for Africa, where European powers carved up the continent, imposing colonial rule. The 20th century saw a wave of independence movements sweep across Africa. New nations emerged, grappling with the challenges of self-governance and the legacy of colonialism. Today, Africa stands at a crossroads, facing challenges like poverty and political instability, but also showing great promise with rapid economic growth in many regions. Throughout its long history, Africa has been a wellspring of human ingenuity, from early stone tools to the development of agriculture, from great works of art to innovations in music and culture that have influenced the world. As we look to the future, Africa's rich past continues to shape its present and inform its potential. Asia. Asia, the world's largest and most populous continent, has been the birthplace of many of humanity's greatest civilizations and innovations. From the banks of the Yellow River to the Indus Valley, complex societies emerged thousands of years ago, laying the foundations for enduring cultures. China, one of the world's oldest continuous civilizations, gave us inventions like paper, gunpowder, and the compass. Its philosophical traditions, including Confucianism and Taoism, have shaped thought across East Asia for millennia. To the south, India developed rich spiritual traditions like Hinduism and Buddhism, which spread their influence far beyond the subcontinent. In West Asia, mighty empires rose and fell. The Persians, Romans, and Islamic caliphates shaped the region's history and culture. The Silk Road, a network of trade routes connecting East and West, facilitated not just the exchange of goods, but also ideas, technologies, and religions. Asia's history took a dramatic turn with the age of European colonialism. Many regions fell under foreign control, while others, like Japan, underwent rapid modernization to resist Western dominance. The 20th century saw the end of colonial rule and the emergence of new nation-states, along with ideological conflicts that reshaped the continent. In recent decades, Asia has experienced unprecedented economic growth. Countries like Japan, South Korea, and China have become global economic powerhouses. Yet, this growth has brought new challenges, from environmental concerns to social inequalities. Throughout its long and complex history, Asia has been a crucible of human achievement, giving rise to great philosophies, religions, arts, and sciences. As we move further into the 21st century, Asia's influence on global affairs continues to grow, shaped by its rich past and dynamic present.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more topics you love.
Europe. Europe, though geographically compact, has played an outsized role in shaping world history. From the ruins of the Roman Empire to the digital age, European ideas and innovations have reverberated across the globe. Ancient Greece laid the foundations for Western philosophy, democracy, and scientific thought. Rome then built on this legacy, creating an empire that spread Latin culture across much of Europe and the Mediterranean. After Rome's fall, Europe entered the Middle Ages, a period often mischaracterized as dark but rich in cultural and technological developments. The Renaissance marked a rebirth of classical learning and ushered in an age of exploration. European ships sailed to distant lands, initiating an era of global trade and colonization that would reshape the world. This period also saw the Protestant Reformation, which challenged the Catholic Church's authority and reshaped European spirituality and politics. The Enlightenment of the 18th century emphasized reason and individualism, setting the stage for revolutions in thought, politics, and industry. The French Revolution and the Industrial Revolution transformed European society, leading to the rise of nation-states and modern capitalism. The 20th century brought unprecedented destruction with 2 world wars, but also saw the birth of international cooperation with the formation of the European Union. The fall of the Iron Curtain in 1989 marked the end of the Cold War and the reunification of a long-divided continent. Today, Europe faces new challenges, from economic integration to migration and rising nationalism. Yet it remains a center of cultural, scientific, and political innovation. Europe's history is a testament to the power of ideas to shape the world, for better and for worse, and its ongoing story continues to influence global developments. North America. North America's history is a tale of ancient indigenous cultures, European colonization, and the birth of new nations. Long before Columbus, diverse Native American societies thrived across the continent, developing complex cultures, cities, and trade networks. The arrival of European explorers in the late 15th century marked the beginning of a dramatic transformation. Spanish, French, and English colonists established settlements, bringing with them new technologies, religions, and diseases that would profoundly impact indigenous populations. In the 18th century, tensions between colonists and European powers led to revolutions. The United States declared independence in 1776, pioneering a new form of democratic government. Canada gradually evolved from French and British colonies into a confederation and eventually an independent nation. The 19th century saw a rapid westward expansion, driven by ideas like manifest destiny. This expansion came at a great cost to Native American populations and sparked conflicts like the American Civil War. Meanwhile, waves of immigrants arrived, contributing to the continent's cultural diversity. The 20th century saw North America, particularly the United States, rise to global prominence. 2 world wars and the subsequent Cold War positioned the U.S. as a superpower. Canada and Mexico also experienced significant growth and change, grappling with issues of national identity and economic development. Today, North America faces challenges including economic inequality, racial tensions, and environmental concerns. Yet it remains a region of immense diversity and innovation, where people from around the world continue to seek opportunity and shape the continent's ongoing story. South America. South America's history is a rich tapestry of indigenous cultures, European conquest, and the struggle for independence and identity. Long before European arrival, advanced civilizations like the Inca built vast empires, creating marvels like Machu Picchu and developing sophisticated agricultural techniques. The continent's trajectory changed dramatically with the arrival of Spanish and Portuguese conquistadors in the late 15th century. These European powers established colonies, exploiting the land's resources and subjugating indigenous populations. This period saw the tragic decimation of native peoples through disease, warfare, and forced labor. The colonial era also brought about a unique cultural fusion. African slaves, brought to work on plantations, contributed their cultures to the mix, creating the diverse ethnic tapestry that characterizes much of South America today. The early 19th century saw a wave of independence movements sweep across the continent. Inspired by Enlightenment ideals and the examples of the American and French revolutions, leaders like Simón Bolívar led their nations to freedom from European rule. The post-independence era was marked by political instability and economic challenges. Many countries experienced periods of dictatorship and struggled to establish stable democracies. The 20th century saw ideological conflicts, with some nations experimenting with socialist policies while others aligned with capitalist powers. In recent decades, South America has seen a resurgence of democracy and economic growth, though challenges persist. The continent continues to grapple with issues of inequality, political corruption, and environmental conservation, particularly in the Amazon rainforest. Throughout its history, South America has been a land of stark contrasts and rich cultural exchange. Its story is one of resilience, creativity, and the ongoing quest for justice and prosperity in the face of significant challenges. Australia, Oceania. Australia and the broader region of Oceania have a history that spans tens of thousands of years, from the ancient cultures of Aboriginal Australians and Pacific Islanders to the modern, multicultural societies of today. Aboriginal Australians, the world's oldest continuous culture, have inhabited the continent for at least 65,000 years. They developed complex spiritual beliefs, intricate social systems, and a deep connection to the land. Similarly, the islands of the Pacific were settled by skilled navigators who crossed vast ocean expanses to create diverse and rich cultures. European exploration of the region began in the 16th century, but it wasn't until 1770 that Captain James Cook claimed Australia for Britain. The continent was subsequently used as a penal colony, with the first fleet arriving in 1788. This marked the beginning of a tragic period for Aboriginal peoples, who faced dispossession, disease, and violence. The 19th century saw the growth of free settlements and the famous gold rushes, which spurred economic development and immigration. In 1901, the 6 British colonies federated to form the Commonwealth of Australia. New Zealand, which had a similar colonial history, became a dominion in 1907. The 20th century brought significant changes. Both Australia and New Zealand fought in both world wars, strengthening their national identities. The post-war period saw increased immigration, particularly from Europe and later Asia, transforming these nations into multicultural societies. In recent decades, there's been a growing recognition of indigenous rights and efforts towards reconciliation. The region also faces unique challenges, including the impacts of climate change on island nations and the need to balance economic development with environmental conservation. Today, Oceania is a region of contrasts, from the vast deserts of Australia to the tropical paradises of the Pacific Islands. Its history is a testament to human adaptability, the complexities of cultural encounter, and the ongoing journey towards justice and reconciliation. Antarctica. Antarctica, the Earth's southernmost continent, has a history unlike any other. Isolated by its extreme climate and geography, this frozen land remained untouched by humans until relatively recently, making its story one of exploration, scientific discovery, and international cooperation. For millennia, Antarctica existed as a hypothetical concept, the great southern land that ancient geographers believed must exist to balance the northern continents. It wasn't until 1820 that the first confirmed sightings of the Antarctic mainland were recorded, marking the beginning of the continent's exploration era. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw a period known as the heroic age of Antarctic exploration. Brave adventurers like Roald Amundsen, Robert Falcon Scott, and Ernest Shackleton led expeditions to map the continent and reach the South Pole. These journeys, marked by both triumph and tragedy, captured the world's imagination and laid the groundwork for future scientific endeavors. World War II brought a brief pause in Antarctic exploration, but the post-war period saw a renewed interest in the continent. The International Geophysical Year of 1957 to 1958 marked a turning point, with multiple nations establishing research stations across Antarctica. This collaborative spirit led to the signing of the Antarctic Treaty in 1959, a landmark agreement dedicating the continent to peaceful scientific research and banning military activities. Since then, Antarctica has become a unique example of international cooperation. The continent hosts scientists from around the world, studying everything from climate change to astronomy. The discovery of the ozone hole over Antarctica in the 1980s highlighted the continent's importance in understanding global environmental issues. Today, Antarctica faces new challenges. Climate change is causing ice shelves to collapse and affecting wildlife populations. There's also growing interest in the continent's potential mineral resources, raising questions about the future of the Antarctic Treaty System. Despite these challenges, Antarctica remains a place of wonder and scientific importance. Its pristine environment provides a unique laboratory for studying Earth's past and potential future. As we grapple with global issues like climate change, Antarctica's role in our understanding of the planet has never been more crucial.